Guards, lock the gates. They've been arrested.
All right, welcome, kings and queens. I am picking up where we left off. This is part 2 of the Lil Scrappy interview. Y'all, I don't know. I really enjoyed this interview. It was such a guilty pleasure for me. Scrappy gave a hell of an interview. And not to be confused with if I agree, if you don't agree, he just knows how to interview. Like he gave everything he was supposed to give. I've said that before in part 1. I'm going to say it again. But yeah, he revealed something that the first part of the interview, part 1, he mentioned Benzino. Part 2, he got down to business. Bambi was creeping. Bambi was actually creeping with Benzino and admitted to Scrappy that she and Benzino had a thing. Oh, but I said Bambi was a sneaky link. I said that in my part 1 review. But let's just get into it. So I covered in recap part 1, like I said, and I was spot on the money when I said in part 1 that I've picked up on the vibes that I feel like Little Scrappy is sensitive. And he is. He admitted that to Carlos King, that he's very sensitive, and he actually hates the fact that he's sensitive. Listen, people are not hard to figure out. If you really want to get to know folks, just sit back, be quiet, listen, and pay attention. Listen to their body language, listen to their voice tone, their animations, pick up on the energy. Bam, there it is. It just takes a little bit of time. Just listen, observe, and it's easy. And I said in my last interview, he's sensitive, he's petty, and I think he's deeply, deeply wounded. I'm serious. And no tea, no shade. I think he's deeply, deeply wounded. And I felt like, I ain't gonna lie, when he was talking to Carlos King, I literally felt like I was witnessing a therapy session. Okay. Like I was eavesdropping on a therapy conversation. That damn interview was good. Scrappy, you gave us something well, at least you gave me something to talk about. So Scrappy said that if he could have his way, he would still be married. Now, Scrappy. Now, here's where I got confused because you didn't say not one. Well, you said Bam was a beautiful woman. You said she was pretty and she makes pretty babies. Other than that, you did not have not one good thing to say about this woman. So, if she was so bad, like you were giving in this interview, why go back? Why? I wish Carlos would have asked him, why do you still want to be married? And if you still want to be married, Scrappy, then why did you throw a divorce party? I wish Carlos would have jumped in and just asked him some of those questions. Because Scrappy, I'll tell you, your behavior is in direct contrast of what you're saying. You say if it was up to you, you would still be married, but you dogging the hell out of this girl in these interviews, right? You're not really protecting her, so that the door is closed on that. I could pretty much assume the door is closed because you're not really doing damage control. Now, y'all, Diamond, he was creeping with Diamond. I feel like you left out a lot of details, Scrappy, but Diamond, you wrong as hell to be stepping in that man's space knowing that he was married with your snake ass. And I'll say it because Scrappy said, "Oh, Diamond hated the fact that I got a divorce. She didn't want that for me." Boy, that's game. Yes, she did. Shit, she wasn't on the sidelines cheering you on for nothing. Yes, she did. But she just knows how to finesse you and make you feel like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. That's not what I meant." And Diamond said, uh, she was just trying to help him build his confidence because he was walking around here like he didn't know who he was and his self-esteem low. Yeah, that's indirect. She's talking you up. She know what to do. She know what to do. So she could make you feel like your wife was not doing her job. So that was all game. Nah, nah, boo. Mm-mm. Diamond, you wrong as hell. And you had no business reaching out to that man. You knew he was married. And not only that, Scrappy revealed that you and Bambi knew each other. You didn't even let on to Scrappy that you and Bambi had been in close vicinity. Bambi's been in your home. That's a snake. I would have been like, oh, hell no. Hell to the no, because I do not need an assistant coach to help me with mine at all. So that was pretty low in my opinion. But let me ask y'all something. What's the deal with Bambi's age? Can somebody explain that to me?
Okay,
Yeah, it's not a good thing.
Well, how old are you?
Let's not talk about that right here, because we've been having some issues with. I know you ain't really been watching all this stuff.
I don't.
But people have been like going. Okay, my mother-in-law, right? I'm suing her for defamation of character because she just literally said 2 days ago that I used the fake ID when I went to jail and gave them the wrong age, and she's just making a big thing out of. So yeah, let's just. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that's a lot to.
I just can't we all get along?
No, we cannot, ma'am.
Okay.
We are suing people.
Subscribe now.
Let me ask y'all something. In your opinion, should Bambi and Scrappy have gotten married? Y'all, this was listening to Scrappy talk. Man, there were so many good details. I just feel like I was in the marriage. It sounds like this was a very competitive marriage. And the odds of the marriage lasting is like 0 to none. The fact that they were competing against each other, that's so sad. That's so sad. And do you feel like they should have gotten married in the first place? There was no mention of love, just two immature adults duking it out in the household. He said when he would be happy, she would be sad because he happy. And then what else did he say? And then when he's sad, she would be happy. He felt like she didn't celebrate him. Now, this is all hearsay, right? This is his version, his experience with her. And the list just goes on and on and on. In your opinion, Carlos asked him, in your opinion, would you say Bambi loved you? He paused for a while and he said, the petty part of me wants to say no. But let me tell you why I would say no. You know what? Would the right question have been if he loved Bambi? And what does that look like for him? Because I want to know, how do you show love, Scrappy? How do you prefer to receive love? What's your love language? And did you communicate this to Bambi? What ways did you show Bambi that you loved her outside of paying rent? That's fine. And I got at the end, he showed a slew of receipts to Carlos. So he's like, listen, this is for Erica and Sierra because they claim that I didn't pay stuff, but I did. But outside of that, right? That's a provision that you take as a man and as a husband. Outside of that, how did you show her love? And then another thing that I found kind of interesting, I want to know, why does Lil Scrappy assign masculine terminology to women? There was no gentleness or feminine language that he used when he talked about women, including his own mama. He would refer to women as cuz, bro, diabolical. Let's dap it up, dog, bro, cuz, you know what I'm saying? My nig. You like all of that. I get it every now and then, but I want to know what's up with that. What's up with that, Scrappy? But y'all, let's talk about it. For those of you who are just tuned in, or if you're new to the channel, welcome to the palace. I am Queen Sheba. I cover a variety of hot topics specific to reality television, but most importantly, I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience. So as I listened to the interview, I was just picking up stuff. At one point, I just quit taking notes. I was like, you know what? I just got to let this marinate in my spirit and just listen to it. And then whatever I take to the recap for you all, that's just what I bring back because it was good. And I got tired of stopping, taking notes and all of that. But what I did pick up and what I formulated as my personal opinion is that, Scrappy, you expected the loyalty that you was not willing to give because you're a cheater, sir. You've cheated on every woman you've dated with, including Bambi. Okay. But you don't give the loyalty at all that you expect. And the type of loyalty that you expect, in my opinion, that of a wife. We will never love you like your mama love you. You were your mama's son. You're not your wife's son. You see what I'm saying? And I think a lot of men misconstrue the role of a wife to mean what my mama did for me and the way my mama loved me. I I hope you work on that in therapy, or you can get around a man that really knows what a wife is supposed to be to her husband, because you don't want a woman to love you the way Mama D loved you. Mama D's love for you, I don't know, Scrappy. But even if it was the healthiest relationship between you and Mama D, you still don't want your wife to imitate that. Your wife is your wife. Your mom is your mom. And I always say that's the bad part about boys growing up in households where they don't really get to see their mom be a wife to their father. Right. And they grow up in these single parent households because they want their wife to behave as their mother. No, sir. If you walk into a marriage with that notion, you failed. You're off to a horrible start. And that's a whole different conversation. But that's what I mean by the loyalty he's expecting. He was not willing to give because you cheated on all of them and you kept a solid and a steady rotation between all of these women: Diamond, Erica, and Bambi. Now, Bambi voluntarily signed up for her role as a side chick. Erica was smart enough to get the hell out. Diamond spun the block. And I think Diamond, in my opinion, the reason why you spun the block is because you are a has-been. You really are. And so you kind of back. I feel like you're trying to come up off a Lil Scrappy. I do. Ain't nobody checking for you. So I don't know your music. Does anybody know Diamond's music? I don't know any like things that she's headlined. So I think she's trying to get on Love and Hip Hop. That's what I think. I think she's an opportunist. I think you stepped in that man's marriage and you pushed Bambi out. And now, of course, Scrappy did say he and Bambi had their own problems. Yeah. But Diamond was the icing on the cake. She knew. She got to be a damn fool to not have known that your wife would not react to you cheating on her emotionally and or physically with Diamond, because Diamond reacted to you cheating on her. And she got a lick back by cheating on you with Soulja Boy. So how could she not expect something to happen? That's just dumb. She's playing games. Scrappy threw Bambi under the bus, y'all, in every which way throughout this interview. Damn, cuz. That's what I was saying. Damn, Lil Scrappy. I was using his words like cuz. For shizzle, my nizzle. All of that. I probably sound corny as hell, but you know what? I was like, damn, that's the mother of your children. This man is hilarious. This man is hilarious. Scrappy. It was a great interview, but I am sure Bambi is going to feel some kind of way. Would it be safe to say he hates her, y'all? Or would that be a reach? I'm going to call out a few things that he said that he really honed in on in this interview. His marriage to Bambi. He experienced more lows than highs. And he actually used the word sometimes. And I jotted down his marriage to Bambi was sometimey. There was a lot of drama, a lot of jealousy, a lot of accusations of cheating. Scrappy, I think you did cheat. Okay. You did. Basically said that Bambi has creep tendencies, and that Bambi, y'all, would send him random photos. Like when he would have a gig, that Bambi would zoom in through the crowd, and any attractive woman that she find, in particular, this one incident that he gave an example of was a light-skinned woman that was somewhere in the back. He did not know who she was. Bambi zoomed in, sent him a screenshot demanding to know, who is this? Demanding to know who the woman was. He basically made it seem like Bambi was kind of stalking him. Like he couldn't, it's like Capital One, don't leave home without it. Like, shoot, Bambi was there even when she wasn't there. He said there was a lot of verbal abuse. Oh, this is a lot. Imagine that. And he was sad a lot in the marriage. He was sad. I don't see him making this up. He said he was working with a therapist while married. That's how sad he was. He was working with a therapist while married, and his therapist said, listen, I don't want to shit on your wife, but you may be dealing with a narcissist. Now, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, because women can be narcissistic too. Women can be emotionally abusive too. I don't see this man having this level of detail, right? Because most men, whatever. They can barely tell you their anniversary date. But I don't see him having this level of detail had this stuff not have had happened in his marriage. Another thing he called out is he danced around it, which made me feel like it was sketchy and questionable. If he cheated, he said that year two, the second year of his marriage, that he texted two girls. I think you cheated. I'm going to ride with that. I think you cheated. I definitely believe you may have cheated. Now, you may not have gotten caught, but I think you cheated. His mom, he talked about Mama D. He said him and Bambi got into a real bad one time because he had a trip to Miami and basically Mama D tried to sabotage his marriage. Mama D don't like Bambi. So what Mama D did is she texted him, hey, here's Shay's number. Shay is Bucky. Remember from The Flavor of Love? Shay also appeared on Love and Hip Hop. And I think Mama D has a sweet spot for Shay. So Mama D sends him this girl's phone number, knowing he's going to be in Miami. She's going to be in Miami. And with Bambi being the stalker that he says she is, Bambi hacked into his iCloud account, found the text messages, called his ass at the studio and confronted him. Now, here's the funny part. When Bambi confronted him at the studio, he was high as a kite because he said he had just popped a pill, honey. So he was being more deceitful with concealing his substance use than he was about what really happened. So he didn't try to lie. He said, yeah, she did send me her number. You right about that. He said he was more worried about pretending to be sober than he was about what Bambi was talking about. So Mama D definitely was a huge barrier in the marriage, coming in between them. Now, his excuse, he never did say, as a matter of fact, if he reached out to Shay, but I'm guessing he did because his excuse was he didn't feel valued. He didn't feel loved. And he was receiving accolades and affirmations and reinforcements from women when he was supposed to get it from his wife. Y'all, the lies, deceit, drugs, and alcohol. Come on, Scrappy. And you expect us to believe you didn't cheat? Let me ask y'all, is that a valid reason to cheat or step out of your marriage because you don't feel like you're getting the attention that you deserve? I want to know. Is that a good reason to be cheated on or to go cheat? He said that Carlos said, well, you said it takes two to get a divorce. He said, no, I didn't say that. He said, I said that it takes two to get married and it takes two to end a marriage. But my question to you, Scrappy, is you shitted on Bambi in this interview. So my question to you is, what could you have done differently? Now that you are where you are now, looking back in hindsight as a man, as a husband, as a father, and as much as you say you want to be married, what could you have done differently? Because you did not verbalize any of this in that interview. I don't recall hearing examples of what you should or could have done differently, nor did I hear you take any accountability for ruining your marriage. If what you say is true, and it takes two to tangle, what part did you bear responsibility on? Okay. I need some concrete examples. They're both childish, in my opinion. They're both really, really childish. And that's unfortunate. I do feel like with intensive therapy, this is what I'm getting. I feel like Scrappy could be a decent guy and may be a very good guy. Now, do you think he should date an older woman? What do you think? You think he would be better off with the older woman? He say he want to be married and he's very sensitive. I think y'all call that empath. He feels everything, y'all. That's good if he can control it and learn how to manage it and navigate through it when he feels triggered. He's doing the right thing, in my opinion, especially as a Black man. He's taking the right steps to healing. He's learning a lot about himself. He's in therapy. So you can't really knock that. I do believe he's going to be or could make a good husband one day. I'm just go by what I felt and the vibes I was picking up on once he do the work. And if he continues to do the work, I do not feel like he should continue to date anybody that he's already dated. He said Ludacris told him, don't ever get a new girl. Stay with the girls you know. I disagree. Sometimes you just gotta go. It's like the Israelites, honey. Sometimes you gotta start from scratch and go to the promised land. I don't think you belong. And I'm not saying that he's a gem and all of that. I'm not saying that he's a winner or he's the prize. What I'm saying is I think he needs a fresh start. With therapy, with healing, comes a fresh start. Why would you look back? That don't make sense to me. So I get what Luda's saying, but he's talking about from money, a money perspective. If your goal is love, I think you need a fresh start. That's just my opinion. I think he still loves Erica, but he knows that that door is closed. Okay, that door is closed. Now I do believe Bambi. There may have been a time or two where you didn't come through with the money, sir. And I know you showed the receipts to Carlos of you paying consistently. But I think that what she was calling out, there may have been a gap, a time or two where you didn't come through. And that may have been the final straw where she got evicted from that home. Now, he said something really interesting to me that did not make sense, which is why I think they should have never been married in the first place. Because Scrappy keeps saying, I want to be married. Yeah, but do you want to be a husband? There's a difference. There's a very distinct difference. And I never heard you say, I want to be a husband. Nor do I think you know how to be when you were married to Bambi. Because you kept saying, Bambi was, she was sitting around sad trying to figure out how she was going to get that house and just kind of figuring out what Scrappy. How come you didn't take the lead? Why does she even have to sit around looking sad? You are the leader. You are the headship in the home, in that marriage. And you said, so I helped her out. Excuse me? Like, to me, that's not a husband or a marriage mindset. I don't know if they've ever got to the point where they needed to be as one. I don't ever think that they crossed that threshold and they became one and they got in sync together as a couple. That's what I was picking up on. There was some moments in the interview that were highs for me when he really talked about his kids and how he appreciates and he really loves being a father, right? And he says, listen, I have more knowledge and wisdom than my mom and my father did, so I'm a better parent to my kids. And the reason why he was sharing that is because there were accusations of abuse of Erica towards Imani, which is his oldest child, I think, his oldest child. So he was just saying, he approaches being a parent differently because some things happened to him as a child. And I guess he was abused. He didn't use that word, but I was picking up what he was putting down. And I walked away feeling like, some things happened to him. I thought that was a very wise statement. And I really liked the way he approached the conversation on parenting. Um, he said that Bambi dropped the ball with his stepdaughter as she began to grow older. And he felt like Bambi abandoned her when Bambi felt like, oh, well, she's just taking her mom's side. And he said, yeah, she may be, but talk to her as a stepmother. Sit her down and tell her that she's loved. Sit her down and tell her she doesn't have to pick a side. And he really wished that Bambi would have poured into his daughter when things got hard, like his stepmother poured into him. And he said his stepmother is his mother. Ooh, that was loud and clear. He said that woman showed him love. That woman poured into him like he was her own son. She saved his life. She was the one who recognized that he had asthma because she paid attention to his breathing while he was asleep and took him to the doctor. They confirmed that he did have asthma and she got him, they were able to get him everything he needed. So he has a high spark of admiration for his stepmom as well as a lot of respect for his stepmother. Yeah, I think it's a wrap on the marriage. I think there's a lot of healing that they both have to do. I think it was a very ugly marriage. I think he didn't say a lot of nice things about Bambi because he could. Now, Bambi, you may have to do an interview, girl, and explain your side so that we can hear both sides and come up with whatever we need to come up with. But he sounds pretty believable. Overall, what do you think? What are your thoughts, you guys?